Good day everyone. My name is Willie Taiko and my report is all about shareholders equity. Shareholders equity represents the owner's claim on the assets of a company after all liabilities have been deducted. It is a key component of the balance sheet and reflects the net worth of the company from the shareholder's perspective. And ang equation nito is shareholders equity is equal to total assets less total liabilities. And it have components. First is contributed capital or paid in capital, retained earnings, other comprehensive income, and treasury shares. Contributed or paid in capital components, paid in capital or contributed capital is the section of stockholders' equity that refers the amount a corporation received when it issued its shares of stock. So, may tatlo rin siyang component. The first one is the share capital. Ito yung portion na authorized share capital na na-issue or pwede siyang i-issue, representing the total par or stated value or no par of the shares issued. Meron din siyang dalawang klase. Ang una ay yung ordinary share capital. The second one is the preference share capital. Next, ang subscribed shares capital. This account represents the total subscriptions to the share capital at par or stated value but not yet issued because they are not yet fully paid. This account is closed upon full payment of the subscription. So, yung subscribed share capital, para siyang naka-reserve lang doon sa isang stockholders or shareholders na ma-acquire niya lang yun fully kapag na-fully paid na rin siya. Next is share premium. This account represents the excess of the subscription price of a par value share capital over the par value. So, ito yung kapag yung isang share capital ay binili ng mas mataas kesa dun sa actual price niya. So, magkakaroon ka ng share premium. Next, yung accounting for share capital. Meron tayong two methods sa accounting for share capital. Number one is memorandum method, made only for authorized capitalization, subsequent issuances of shares credited to the share capital account. The second, journal entry method. Authorized capitalization is recorded by crediting authorized share capital and debiting unissued share capital. Subsequent issuance of shares are credited to unissued share capital. So, meron tayong example dito. The memorandum in the journal entry. Itong sa una, authorized capitalization, sa memorandum, wala siyang entry. Ang ano niya lang is memo entry lang. Sa journal entry naman, mag-entry na tayo kagad ng unissued share capital, tapos authorized share capital. Then, iba tayo sa subscription. Sa subscription, ang memorandum niya ay entry, cash, subscription, debit, and then yung credit niya is subscribed share capital. Sa journal entry naman, cash and subscription receivable ay naka-debit, naka-credit naman ang subscribed share capital. Lipat na tayo sa pangatlong scenario kapag magkukulik na tayo ng subscription at i-issue na natin ng buo yung shares. So, cash ulit. Then, i-credit na natin yung subscription receivable. Sa journal entry, ganun din. Cash and then yung subscription receivable ay naka-debit credit. Sa memorandum, subscribe share capital, and then yung credit niya naman ay share capital. Dito sa journal entry ay magbabago siya. Subscribe share capital And then, yung credit niya ay unissued share capital. Next, ang retained earnings. Ang retained earnings ay ang total na kinita ng kumpanya mula nang mag-umpisa ito, minus lahat ng dividends na ibinigay sa shareholders, kapag profitable ang kumpanya sa loob ng maraming taon. Kadalasan malaki ang retained earnings. Pero kapag nalugi naman ito, maaari itong maging negative o deficit. Hindi rin ibig sabihin na pag maraming cash ang kumpanya, mataas ang return earnings. Dahil maaaring nagagamit ang pera sa assets o sa investments. Para malaman ang actual cash, tignan ang cash account sa balance sheet. Example, a corporation has only common stock with a par value of $0.10 per share at allowed sila mag-issue ng 10,000 shares. Ito ay authorized. And nakapag-issue sila ng 2,000 na shares, receiving na 50,000 from investors. Thus, over time, the company earned a total of $40 in net income and paid out $12,000 in dividends. So, yung kanyang magiging retained earnings is equal to yung net income na $40,000 minus natin yung dividends na $12,000 ay magkakaroon ito ng $28,000 sa total. So, makikita nyo sa kabilang picture paano siya gagawin. Yung 200 ay galing sa $0.10 tinimes doon sa 2,000 na na-issue na shares. So, ayun yung 200. Yung paid-in capital niya is 50,000 at magkakaroon tayo ng paid-in capital excess of par sa common. Then, yung retained earnings ay makikita natin dyan, $28,000. Then, magkakaroon tayo ng total stockholders equity na $78,000. Next, entries to the retained earnings account. Net income loss. Sa close entries ng corporation, isinasara natin, di ba, yung income summary papunta doon sa retained earnings. Kapag kumita ang kumpanya, kinikredit ang retained earnings. Kapag nalugi naman ay dinedebit natin ito. Sa dividends naman, kapag nag-declare ng dividends at board of directors, nire-record ito sa declaration date sa pamamagitan ng debit sa retained earnings at pag-credit naman sa dividends payable. Ang mismong pagdideclare ng dividends ang nagpapababa ng retained earnings natin. Appropriations o restriction ng retained earnings, maaring magdedesisyon ang board na i-restrict ang bahagi ng retained earnings. Kapag may restriction, nagkakaroon ng dalawang accounts. Ang una dito ay yung unappropriated retained earnings. Ito yung regular at yung walang restriction. Sa appropriated retained earnings naman, ito yung bahagi ng retained earnings na inilipat at naka-restrict. Prior period adjustments, kapag may malaking error sa dating income statement, in-adjust ang beginning balance ng retained earnings sa current year. Kapag understated ito, tataas ang beginning na ating retained earnings. Kung overstated naman ang ating net income, past net income, bababa naman ang ating beginning retained earnings. Next ay ang accumulated other comprehensive income, AOCI, ay tumutukoy sa mga kita o logi na hindi kasama sa net income or retained earnings. Kabilang dito yung mga foreign currency translation adjustments, pati na rin yung mga unrealized gain or losses mula sa hedging or derivative instruments at mga post-retirement benefit plan. An example of the reporting of accumulated other comprehensive income of $8,000, notice that it is reported separately from retained earnings and separately from paid-in capital. So, makikita nyo naman sa kabilang picture na naka-highlight yung accumulated other comprehensive income na $8,000 na hindi kasama doon sa mga nabanggit na account. Note din natin na yung net income na ng corporation's income statement ay added doon sa retained earnings.